Hello, I'm a Hardcore Gamer, this is Hardcore Quickies, and this is the Ambassador Fractured Timelines. Maybe it's just that my brain is controlled by my sweet tooth, but when I think of the title The Ambassador, I automatically think of a rich diplomat bringing out a giant tray full of chocolate nut wafer balls wrapped in gold foil. And now I want chocolate. The Ambassador Fractured Timelines, however, is not that, but is a retro-styled, pixelated adventure game from Tiny Dino and the Quantum Astrophysicists, available for Steam, Xbox One and Switch. Okay, full disclosure, I was kindly given a review code for this game from the wonderful folks at the Quantum Astrophysicists, but I'm going to be giving my honest impressions and opinions. So, here we go. Trying to classify this game is pretty hard. It's part top-down adventure, part roguelike, part twin-stick shooter, with an incredibly rich, detailed and straight up beautiful retro pixel art style and a high fantasy setting. It's like Zelda meets Dead Cells meets Smash TV, which is a sentence no one has ever said ever. You take control of the Ambassador, a bearded wizard type gent who's thrust into the role of saviour of the world after his home is destroyed by one of those white magic explosions that only exist in the realms of fantasy. Using your newly acquired skills, you must traverse the many lands of this world, stopping evil and putting an end to the dastardly plot to destroy the world. You collect various power-ups, new weapons and armour along the way, which increases your HP, mana, speed and attack strength, making you tougher and more resilient as you complete your quest. It has an interesting level structure. Each level is comprised of around 6 to 10 separate stages, essentially little combat arenas, which must be cleared of enemies before you can move on. Each arena contains an assortment of different enemy types, with different weaknesses and attack patterns that must be figured out before they die. Some are only weak once they've performed a devastating attack, some require multiple hits, and some require simply waiting for the right time to strike. Harder bad lads and bosses have a small icon that shows whether you can attack them or not. If it's a silver shield, they're invulnerable. If it's a red sword, go wild. If you die, and you will, this game is pretty tough, especially in the latter stages, you respawn at the arrival point in the arena, which can get frustrating if there's a particularly difficult puzzle you need to complete to navigate the area, like this lantern puzzle on an exploding bridge. Fuck this puzzle! But the majority of the time, it just spent walking to the point where I was killed. Dying doesn't affect your items or anything, and enemies you've already slayed stay dead, so it's more of an inconvenience than anything. Your weapons consist of melee attacks, various swords, axes, crossbows and warhammers, and magic attacks, speed of attack, freezing powers and flame powers. Normal melee attacks are essentially lobbing your weapon at a baddie, which automatically return to you. Magic attacks use up mana, the green balls under your health bar, and these auto-refill over time. There's also various armours you can obtain, which offer you faster reflexes, more HP, faster weapon return, faster mana regeneration, or just look super snazzy. Looking real good there, Ambassador. The controls are really interesting too. You move your character with the left stick, and the right stick is solely used to control your attack direction. It's an interesting control scheme, and it took me a little while to get used to, longer than I'd actually care to admit, but once it all clicked into place, I was away and murdering monsters and men with ease. The face buttons are used to access your inventory, and to eat meat used to recover health. The bumpers are used to switch between normal and magic attacks, with the right trigger used to attack, and the left trigger used for the game's core mechanic, stopping time. Finding yourself surrounded by lads, on a bridge that seems to be collapsing faster than you can walk? Pull down that trigger, the purple area of effect will appear, and everything within the bubble will freeze in place until the bar above your head diminishes. There are some great puzzles using this mechanic, and it can be extremely useful in combat too, especially with the big dudes who deal massive damage. Simply freeze time and avoid their stupid blasts. The knobheads. Once you reach the end of a particular level, as is tradition, you have to fight a boss. The boss battles are great. They're well thought out little combat puzzles that maintain all the challenge of the main arenas, and most of them I really enjoyed discovering the attack patterns and weak spots. One of them in particular was a pain in the arse though. Okay, so you have to hit all the lanterns to illuminate them. Once illuminated, a cart containing a gemstone will appear on one of the 4 train tracks. Freeze time and attack the gemstone, which will shoot at the boss, breaking his defence, allowing you to attack him. Do this 3 times to defeat the boss. Sounds simple, until you realise that A. The boss has some hard to defend attacks that will kill you quickly. B. Lanterns don't stay illuminated for long and will turn themselves off. C. The boss can also turn the lanterns off, leaving you fighting to get them all turned on. And D. Even if you get all the lanterns illuminated, the boss can also use the gemstones to create a gemstone monster to attack you, so it becomes a race to get to the cart before him. In fact, anytime there was a puzzle involving lanterns, I found it incredibly frustrating, especially the one where you had to illuminate 4 of them while freezing time on a collapsing bridge to open a castle gate. But it's not just doing the puzzle, it's the fear of dying and being sent back to the start of the stage again and having to do the puzzle over again. Just end me. The Ambassadors was a weird one. It's very short, but ultimately I really enjoyed my time with it. Other than the few cases I've spoken about, the puzzles are challenging but not overly difficult, the design is charming and fun, and the graphics have a great modern retro aesthetic, which is so hot right now. But weirdly, it wasn't a game that was on my radar at all, and if I wasn't approached and offered a review code for it, then I probably wouldn't have played it. Which is a shame, because I had a lot of fun and would have definitely missed out. The Ambassadors is out now on Steam, Xbox One and Switch, and it's about £9, and it's well worth a shot. It's pretty short, but it's definitely rewarding. Anyways, I've been the Hardcore Gamer. Join me next time for a much better video. But for now, I still hate that lantern boss. You dick! Hey folks, me again, and thank you for watching this particular video. If you've liked what you've seen, please hit that like button. If you want to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button. If you like me enough to want to support me monetarily, you can! Go to coffee.com/xHARDCOREGAMErx and keep me caffeinated. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.